Sorta Ridiculous is sponsored in part by Drunken Cobra. Drunken Cobra is a diverse, inclusive neighborhood pub in East Tosa. It offers year-round weekly events like karaoke, music performances, and stand-up comedy. Drunken Cobra is located at 6818 West North Avenue. Drunken Cobra, obey the snake. All right, folks, are you guys ready for another episode of Sorta Ridiculous? All right, well, with me today on the guitar, my co-host, Misha Siegfried. And with us also today in the studio, on the bass, getting funky, we have Jamie Jackson. All right. So, as you guys know, or if you guys have been listening, August for Sorta Ridiculous, we've been doing the Sorta Ridiculous Summer Sessions. That's right. Each week, we've had musicians, the music artists, you know, the whole thing. But this week, we're taking the opportunity to actually have a session. That's right. We're going to have a Sorta Ridiculous jam and maybe talk about it. Because I'm curious, and I haven't played with these guys, you know, so is that like the essential like jam session aesthetic, whatever? Like, hey, I don't know you guys, let's play a song or something. Right, is that good? All right, guys, 1, 2, 3, Mustang Sally. I'm kidding, Misha. All right, so we get started. You guys want to? All right, let's do it. Ridiculous. Sorta ridiculous. Ha! Oh! Sorta ridiculous. Hit it again, don't stop. Hit it again, don't stop. Hit it again, don't stop. Hit it again, in the shot. Done again, on the shot. Done again, on the shot. Just hit it. WXIW on a 4.1 FM. We're not y'all, but not one of them. Jamming in the studio. This is how it really goes. The summer session, y'all. All the walls out. Getting funky now. Getting funky now. Yeah. Step on up. Yeah. Do a little tail catch. Hell yeah. Yeah, wrong with it. This is the first time we did this. Blow me a kiss. Mwah. If you listen to this, you can suck my kiss. That's a reference. The irrelevant. The irreverence of Sorta Ridiculous. You can suck it. Yeah. Say that. Say it. You be right in there. Yeah, funky now. Hey, yeah. Sweat it like a mother. Woo! It's sweating like a mother. Don't stop now. Break it down now. All right. So that's been the first official jam session of Sorta Ridiculous. Of the Sorta Ridiculous session. You know, I think we need to become a trio. We could be called like the Affirmative Actions.
Yeah, I would totally believe for that, man.
Yeah, the Affirmative Actions. I had another one in mind. You know what? No, let's go to the studio. All right.
Clarence T, the Affirmative C.
Oh.
Man, I'm sweaty. Oh,
Dude. All right, folks. Ooh. All right, so that being like my first official jam, I must say, I thoroughly enjoyed myself.
I believe you mean Jammy Jam.
Jammy Jam.
The Jam Jam.
The sort of jammy jam. Jam.
I thought it went well.
Yeah, me too. So, just coming like right off of the experience, I love the harmony, and I love like, okay, so when Jamie started with the bass, I was like, all right, we got the rhythm going, and then Misha was like making his way in. It sounds like watching like people like double dutch or something. I was like, all right, how are we going?
Yeah, that's kind of the jam experience, especially like when I go to a blues jam or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
They're like, hey, do you know Stormy Monday? Hey, do you know Mustang Sally? Hey, do you play a shuffle in G? And like and this is a pre-agreed upon language that everybody speaks. So you call it, shuffle in G, and then 1, 2, 3, you know what I mean? And like the band kicks in.
Okay.
In a situation like this where we've never played together, and we don't know any of the same songs, and you were just jam. So like there's always, it's like double dutch. You got to find that moment where like you find your pocket, you find the rhythm, you slide into the rhythm, and just kind of the trick is just to keep it going.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Like
And
there's
not get
like,
tripped up.
Yeah, don't trip. Don't trip
No,
on the rope.
I feel you on that, and I totally understand. Okay, not that I'm anywhere near this, but I get why James Brown did what he did. I mean, like when he found his pocket, like he did his thing, but all of like the vocalizations, like the ha, and it was like okay, because you're feeling it.
That was a good
feeling it. You're feeling it.
Yeah,
Stuff like that.
yeah.
I was like, all right, because I was trying to get something together. And I was like, oh, okay, no, I don't want to like step on anything, but I do want to,
Sure. Yeah.
add a little oomph to it.
Well, I think you did just fine, man. And that's kind of what it is, dude. Like once you jump in, you're all kind of riding this wave together. You don't even think about it, dude. It's like unconscious.
Yeah, it was definitely a flow
Yeah.
state there.
Yeah.
Flow state there. So I was able to see the Misha play face. I got to see the
Misha play face.
Yeah, the Misha face. I mean I would know that stank face. You know what I'm talking about? What do they call it? What do you guys call it? What do you know, like when you know the whatever the face, and I saw the funky face, like the
I like to call it my papa face.
Papa.
Papa.
A lot of people don't know that bass actually emanates from the crotch region, so I'm channeling it from there
so
up
that
through my fingers.
It's like you're playing the bass with your ball sack.
that's what I was like. So it's the face. That's why you okay.
Right,
Okay,
yes.
that makes. All right, I got you. No, that was a lot of fun. Hell
Yeah, I had a good time.
All right, so like, okay, so how long have you guys been playing your respective instruments?
Oh wow.
How long have you been playing?
For that's a long time. So I started playing guitar probably like 10, 15 years ago.
Okay.
Bass about like 5, 6 years ago now.
Nice.
Yeah, yep. It's way easier to join a band if you play bass. 'Cause there's so
This
many
is true. Yeah,
guitars.
you can throw a stick in a direction and hit a guitar player.
Wait,
But-
why is that?
Because every idiot wants to be a guitar god. Every idiot wants to be like, I'm gonna play solo. Wheelie wow.
Yeah.
And then people are like, the girls are like, ooh. And then, but that doesn't happen in real life, but that's what we tell ourselves. Is,
And I feel like bass also can kind of be challenging when you're first learning it to, play by yourself and stay with it. You
Yeah.
know, it doesn't
Yeah,
sound. I mean, it sounds awesome, but like it doesn't sound as like really wow as a guitar. You know.
Right. But I think with bass, like we talked about outside, about how like as the bass player you draw your groove from the drums.
Right.
You know.
Oh,
so like
100%.
unless you have a drummer to work, because like there were guys I knew in high school who were a bass player and a drummer and who played together, and they didn't have a guitar player. They're just two dudes who like to play together. But that's how they learned how to be a rhythm section.
Oh yeah.
You know.
Yeah, you have to play off of each other, bass and the drums. Honestly, anytime my band and I play shows, if you watch me, I'm like literally looking at the drummer the whole time.
Yeah. But like that's the gig, man. I mean, like especially as a good bass player, you gotta like listen to that bass drum and that snare drum. And, like,
Huh. So with there not being a drummer, like how did that change the experience? Having there being a drummer.
Without being a drummer.
Yeah, with there not being a drummer, what was the experience like, or how was it different than what you're accustomed to with having a drummer?
Finding the one is a lot harder.
Yeah.
Like, when we're playing without a drummer, like we have our own metronomes because we're used to playing and we hear things a certain way.
Yeah.
And like you get used to playing and you're thinking like, oh, well, in my head the drum part sounds like this. I hear it. I'm like, oh, in my head the drum part sounds like this. So you get this kind of mishmash of ideas. But you can find the one.
100% easier when there's a
Yeah.
drummer.
Yeah.
All right. So
Yeah.
is that why some lead singers they'll have like a tambourine or some hand
No.
instrument or something? No, that has not. That's just flair.
That's flair. Yeah.
Woo!
Yeah, basically. Yeah.
I had like time too, it's a little bit easier to keep rhythm or like, really belt if you're like feeling it,
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Because I figured
Same with like maracas.
maracas. Oh, just so you have something. Do you think lead singers get like bored just having a mic? Do some of them look awkward, like they don't know what to do on stage, like they're
A
just
crappy lead singer does. A good lead singer learns how to entertain the crowd through,
man.
or you get with lead singer-itis, where it's just like, I'm going to play the piano. I wrote a song, and then they write the song, and it's this this terrible ballad about how their love is like a thornless rose or whatever. And then you gotta like they bring it to rehearsal, and they're like, hey, check out what I wrote. It's really sensitive.
Yeah.
And you start playing, and you're like, oh my god, this is terrible.
I'm going
Please
to the
stop.
bathroom.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have to shout out my boy Matt. When I was in a band with him, he was our lead singer. And he would always-
shout out to Matt, bro.
Yeah,
Quick
Matt.
50.
Quick 50, dude. He would always play air guitar. Like it was like.
But that's what a good lead singer does.
Yeah.
Like gets into like the lead singer's the show. You know
Right.
what I mean? Like the lead singer's got to bring the show.
Yeah, Matt killed it, man. I always
so
enjoyed
good.
Quick 50 shows.
Yeah, it was a good time. Yeah, we had a good run, man. I miss those guys. I miss all my friends. Yeah, when you're an adult, it's hard to find time.
Bah, friends are overrated.
Get a cat.
Schmidt. Yeah, get a cat, get a dog.
All right. So how many bands have you got, or like ensembles or whatever, have you guys
God.
been a part of? Or is that like a
lifetime?
hard? I don't know. How do
Like asking me how
musicians
many-
answer
it's like
this
asking
question?
me how many people I slept
So,
with.
what's
I mean,
your
No,
religion?
100%.
right?
That's literally what it's like.
Okay, how many prominent ensembles or bands would you?
How
that
many
you would
major relationships have I been in?
Yeah. How many major
go.
musical relationships have you been in? There you go.
Hell.
I would say 4 for me.
4.
Yeah, we had the crappy high school bands that,
Right,
was,
right,
that
right,
were not
right.
really. Man, we used to play at this coffee house every Thursday for open mic, and we didn't have a drummer back then. And I feel so bad for those people that had to sit there and watch us play.
Yeah.
Have
I
some
feel
fun.
bad.
Back in high school. Yeah.
All right. Man, Misha, you really got around, huh?
Yeah, well, I mean, I was telling you earlier, like when I was a sideman, I went wherever the money was. You know, like I had no allegiance to anybody but myself. I was what you call a privateer. I'm going to say major musical relationships I've been in. I'm going to say 8,
8.
Nice.
maybe 9. I don't know. That last one was kind of. I don't really know if we felt the same way about each other, so I don't want to judge.
It was long distance.
Yeah, it was a long distance. No, yeah, I think like 8 major bands that I like committed my time and energy to, and like rehearsed and like did the touring thing and yada yada yada.
All right. So with you guys having so much experience with bands, what are like the bases that you need to cover?
First base, second base, and third base.
Yes.
Yes.
To be an even remotely.
And home. Sorry.
I wouldn't even say successful band, but like a cohesive band, like an actual like you guys actually look like a band or feel like sound like a band.
I'll field this one, man. You gotta
Yeah.
practice, dude.
Yes.
I see so many live acts, and you can tell, like, when you're a musician, you can kind of tell what other musicians are going for, even if it doesn't quite sound like that. And that comes down to tightness, you know?
Yeah, yeah,
Not to toot my
100%.
own horn, but we get that compliment all the time that we're really tight, and that's because we've been playing with each other for, like, 7 years now,
Yeah.
and that you just got to practice.
Yeah, that's that 100%. Even like when I was touring with blues bands and jazz bands and stuff, like band rehearsals are harder because people are more cynical. But you see the same group of people at jams all the time. You do pickup gigs with each other all the time. So there's that tightness gets formed through different combination of guys. And can get formed, but will ever be as tight as a touring band that's been together for 5 years and is doing 200 shows a year or whatever.
Oh, good God.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying. But like
that's a
the
thing?
yeah, that's the goal.
Yeah,
I mean,
right. That's when you made it.
like BB King before he went off the road because he was too freaking old. BB King in his 90s was still doing 300 dates a year.
Jeez.
What?
Yeah. BB King. You know what I mean?
Yes,
Like,
yes.
So, and there's 52 weeks in a year, 2 gigs on a weekend. Friday, Saturday. Right? So like, so that's 26 gigs. That's
Yeah.
I'm sorry, that's not right.
No.
Calculate.
That's 104.
I'm just
that's
rolling
100.
with it.
That's 104 dates a year, assuming you have every weekend booked. Okay, factor in a couple of Thursdays, a couple of Sunday matinees if you're lucky. So if you're like busting your booking connections, all right, ideally you should be doing 150 gigs a year, maybe 200 dates a year, depending on what's going on.
Oh, yeah.
But like. And coming at it from a blues and a jazz perspective, like you can also host jams, you can do weddings, you can do like other stuff. So like it's like, but the thing is that like, tell me if you agree with this or not.
Yeah.
Like, there's an inclination amongst musicians that quantity is better than quality.
Oh, no, 100%.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and like
Is that true?
I'll put it this way, man. You never know who's in the audience. And
Yes,
I
that's
try
true.
and play every show like it's my last. I try
Yeah.
to give it all every time. And a lot of times people burn themselves out, and it's hard to. You got to bring it every night.
yeah,
Right,
yeah.
right,
You don't know
right.
who's in the audience, but if you want to do it for a living, you need as much money coming in as you can. So you are doing duo gigs, and you're hosting jams, and you're doing the solo acoustic Sunday brunch over at Schmucky's restaurant in West Dallas.
Well, I know that posture, like the crossed leg and
Yeah. But the thing is, so the question is, so how do you be a successful musician? What's your definition of success?
I don't know that you guys enjoy what you're doing. I guess
good luck
making
with
some
that.
sort of money. Why would you do it if you're not enjoying it? I mean, because money, right?
Yeah, because money, and because I would postulate, speaking as a recovering musician, musician recovery, you do it because you're addicted to it. Like for me, like I did it for so long, and I gigged as much as I could because I needed the money, and because I was like, well, this is what I do, and this is what I do, and I just wake up every day, and this is what I do, and after a while, you get to a point where you're just doing it because you're the hamster on the wheel, and if you stop, then you're going to realize that you're going to realize that everything's terrible. So you just keep going.
Gotta get that carrot, bro.
Right, that's what I'm saying, man. Because you keep if I keep working, I'm going to get a bigger contract. If I keep working, I'm going to get an agent. If I keep working, I'm going to do a festival tour. If I keep working, I'm going to get a major album. At the time, that's what we said. Hopefully, you're not stupid enough to think that, because major labels are a joke.
No, we live in a different day and age for that sort of
exactly.
thing.
All right. So with that being said, you mentioned like a bunch of what I saw was like tiers of things, or like levels.
Yeah.
So what is like the ideal level progression from going to, I don't know, playing at open jams to what is like the pinnacle of what
I think it's different for everybody.
Want? All right.
It depends on their goals. It depends on what they want to do. Like, what's for you? What's your goal? Why are you doing this?
I just like being out in the scene, man. I love meeting new bands, meeting new people. If I had an ideal show, though, it would probably be like, I don't know. We played Chill on the Hill last year, and that was like
that's a good
super
gig.
dope.
Yeah,
right.
that's a great gig.
That's like the pinnacle.
Yeah.
Any show I've ever
Brandon
played.
like shoots that. Yeah.
Yeah, that's Brandon's photography gig.
Yeah,
Chill on the
hey,
Hill.
shout out to Brandon. So that would probably be up there, something like that or similar.
Sure.
Yeah.
What do you want to do with music, Mister? I want to get into bands. Like,
I'm more of a theater person. Like, I love musical theater, but I think that there's like a
have you considered doing a one-man production of The Music Man?
No, but I have pondered doing a one-man show of Sorta Ridiculous.
.com.
The musical.
Right, the musical. Everywhere I look and see.
But you know what that means? You know, you need to have a band or an orchestra. No,
Or
accompaniment.
A combo of some
A
sort.
combo of
score.
Look, I remember my first high school show that I saw, or high school musical. There was only like 3 or 4 people playing this whole thing. Like you had like a couple of guitars. You had it was like 5 or 6 of them. So you have like someone on piano, someone playing guitar, someone on drums, and there's a couple other like rando.
What show was it?
Little Shop.
Okay, you can do Little Shop with a band.
For sure.
Like, it's because it's got that 50s doo-wop kind of feel.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, you don't need the string section. Whereas, though, if you were going to do, like, West Side Story, or you were going to do, like, Fiddler on the Roof, or, which I would, or even if, like, you did Rent or Wicked or one of those, like, that's, while they're more geared towards a more contemporary sound, it's still very reliant on orchestras, so you can get the karaoke version essentially. It's essentially what it is. They offer versions of the score without vocals, and you just pipe it through your PA, and you have your cast perform against that. Which,
really?
yeah, but because
100%.
theaters can't afford full orchestras anymore. This isn't the 50s, man.
Okay,
I mean, like,
I was just gonna say, even if you can't afford to have a whole band, I think that's like the next evolution of music, man. Everything is becoming digital.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's where all the stems and stuff comes from.
Yeah.
Well,
you got to pick out the stems and the seeds, and you got to clean it, and make
then
sure
you
it's
roll
good.
it up, put
Then
on
you
the
roll it
show.
up, right? Put it on, put it on the air,
the show
man.
down.
Right.
I got 5 on it.
But like, man, I don't know. I mean, I agree with you. Like, that is, but how people perform live music is changing. People are using looping stations now, and they have been for a while. For like 20 years, people have been doing stuff with loopers, and like, I've seen plenty of like dude, I remember back when I was in college, I would go to like restaurants or whatever with my parents for stuff.
Yeah.
And there'd always be some long-haired dude with a ponytail and in a classical gut string guitar with a pickup in it
Yup.
that he'd be feeding to a Roland loop station.
Yup.
And he would do these like Paul Simon covers or like Peter Gabriel with like his loop station and his acoustic guitar.
Yeah.
And like that's what a lot of guys have like bridged into, is because you can get the full sound without having to pay a bunch of people. You know what I mean? Which is like super cynical, but it's the truth.
We're all about
Like,
saving money here.
Yeah.
All right, yeah. Let me take off my rose-tinted glasses. Man, I thought being
man,
a
I've been
band
telling
was
you
way
this
more
for
glamorous.
years. Take off those rose-tinted.
I know. I guess I needed like a couple of perspectives on here because you're Misha.
Yeah, no. Allow me to poop in your cornflakes whenever you want. I will gladly disabuse you of whatever nonsense you believe.
I need this sometimes. I'm still flying high, like blindingly optimistic.
Right.
I mean, well, except for this
everything
past
will
week.
work out. No, it doesn't.
I'll show you.
Yeah. Okay.
Have you never seen a Don Bluth movie?
Yeah. Well, it's okay. That's your first problem.
Like even in American Tail.
It all works out.
Fiddler on the Roof with Mice is what that is.
Oh man.
And The Land Before Time. I mean,
That's
of course
Fiddler on
it
the
was
Roof with
awful.
Dinosaurs. That's not true. That's not true at all.
So crazy.
Oh,
They're on the roof with dinosaurs.
if I wasn't dead now. What is that meteor doing in the sky?
It's a very short show. It's only one act.
It's a prehistoric hit.
Wow.
That was terrible.
See, okay, so here's
And don't forget the feature piece.
historic.
Prehistoric.
That's funny. That is so.
Thank
like,
you.
So I guess coming from like a theater standpoint, like I appreciate like when I see bands and they are more active. I mean, nothing against people that are like really technical, whatever, but I'm totally down for like the technique, like not taking a whole backseat, but taking like a step down for showmanship because
Yo, there's a
my
song
eyes
about
were-
that. Don't sweat the technique.
Wait, there it is.
Don't sweat the technique. You never heard that? It's a hip hop.
No.
Oh, yeah.
It's a hip hop song from the '90s, I think.
Don't slip the- You know, oh, that's awful. I should know this.
You should know that. I'm actually.
Minus 20 black points. I think a lot of times people take for granted, though, like when you're playing live, people don't catch everything you're playing anyway. So even
Oh
if
yeah,
you're, like,
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah, in theater, that's
You
the
can play
same.
the most virtuosic solo ever, and some idiot's gonna be like, "Hey, play Mustang Sally," you know, like.
I feel you on that. Like I did. We did Night of the Living Dead, the puppet show, for like 13, 14 years
The
straight.
Puppet Show?
Yeah, the puppet show. And you know, it's interesting because some years, like you know, the part that's supposed to hit, like tug the heartstrings and all that other stuff. And some years it just didn't hit. I'm like, what the hell? But you know,
Yeah.
but it always like every like 2 or 3 years, you're like, a black puppet died. With that being said, this has been another episode of Sorta Ridiculous. Sorta Ridiculous. Hamilton. Mustang Sally.